So welcome everyone. Today we're going to do an introduction to Tai Chi and Qigong. So a lot of people know what Tai Chi is because of the commercials that we see on TV, or maybe because we've seen someone practicing in our park. Tai Chi is actually a form of Qigong. Qigong translates into energy and skill. So there's three different types of Qigong. There's spiritual Qigong, medical Qigong, and martial Qigong. So all just again relating back to that energy skill. So Qigong is a great way to help the energy flow in our body, to clear our mind, and is also a great martial art. And that's where Tai Chi comes into place. So Tai Chi Chuan translates into grand ultimate fist. So Tai Chi is actually a martial art that was made to counter Kung Fu. But everyone knows about Tai Chi and its slow movement and how good it is for balance. And that comes from that incredible footwork and slow movements that we practice. So Tai Chi has been well known for its healing. But first and foremost, it was made as a martial art. We do still practice it as a martial art in our forms, but our focus is on healing the body through proper alignment. So why do we practice? Most people come for balance, for energy flow, strength, flexibility, just an overall improved well-being, and it's a practice that can last a lifetime with no age limitation. It can also be adapted for injuries. Last year I had a broken foot, I now have a torn shoulder, and nothing has stopped me from practicing. You can always adjust accordingly. So you can sit in a chair if you need to, you can modify arm movements, you can always practice no matter what's going on. So today we're going to start with some basic warm-ups. We're going to practice some Qigong, and we're going to build into a little bit of a Tai Chi practice. And I will show you a little bit of one of the 13 movement forms that we practice in traditional Yang family Tai Chi. So the first thing I want to teach you is what we call the official salute. So we make a fist with our right hand, rolling all those fingers in, and we tuck the thumb over the first two because it is a martial arts fist. We want to protect the thumb. And bring all the fingers together on your left hand. We bring them both together and we salute as a sign of honor to each other before we get started. So basic warm-ups. We don't know where you were before this session, so we're going to start with our feet shoulders width apart. Take a moment and look down at your feet. We all have a natural way that we like to stand. We want to start to change that. We want to become really aware of our posture to help healing our body, and it starts from the ground up. So if we have our feet perfectly straight, about shoulders width or hips distance apart, no wider than the outside edge of your shoe, matching the outside edge of your shoulder. Make sure you have soft knees. So a lot of people like to stand with their legs locked out, and then we get this kink in our lower back, and guess what? Circulation stops right here. So we want to have a little bit of bend in the knees, and we want to drop our tailbone down just a little bit, not too much that we're over rounding and tilting our hips up, but we want to find a level position with our hips. So we're going to lift up through the crown of the head next. Think about like building blocks. We're trying to stack everything all the way up and let the shoulders hang down. We're going to start with a gentle swinging exercise, which is about imagining that you're a pole and you're just going to let your arms swing. So we're going to rotate from side to side, turning from our torso, trying to keep our hips relatively straight. And we're going to let our head follow our torso direction. And we're just going to let the arms free swing. So maybe they tap the back or the belly. And we want to make sure that we're breathing. So this one exercise is really great for opening up energy pathways in our body and releasing tension by just letting everything flow freely. Take a couple more turns back and forth. See if you can really just let go and see how your torso leads the arms. So if we speed up, the arms speed up. And then if we start to slow down, the arms will slow down with us. So we can learn how the turning of our torso actually controls the speed of our arms. So we're going to start slowing down, and we're just going to not turn as far until we make our way all the way back to center. Now we're going to warm up into our shoulders, and we have a few options here. So we're going to either make circles together, squeezing the shoulder blades so we go forward, up, back, and down. You could alternate one shoulder and then the other. You could do large arm circles. And again, there's that option to alternate one arm and then the other. It's going to be based on how you feel. Again, I'm still recovering from a shoulder injury, so I'm going to keep the movements a little bit smaller for myself because this is what feels good. The goal of our practice is to bring awareness to how our body feels, to listen and to acknowledge what's going on right now, knowing every day is different. Now we're going to go the other direction. So we're going to go back, up, forward, and down. We're thinking about pulling our shoulder blades apart now. And we have the same options. So you could alternate. You could do large arm circles or single large arm circles. What feels good for your body? The shoulders and the hips are large energy connection points. So we have the energy well in the center of our body, and then it goes out to our hands and our feet. We want to make sure that our joints are supple and have the ability to move and have flexibility. So now let's go back a couple of times. We always need this one just a little bit more for our posture and our alignment. And then we're going to toss our shoulders down. So we're going to draw them up to our ears and throw them down. You can inhale up, exhale down. And it's just about releasing any bit of tension you might be holding and helping to find a neutral position. Okay, we're going to do our hips next, and then we have knees and ankles, and we're going to get into some more Qigong exercises. So right now you can have your hands on your thighs, your hips, free swinging, or even pushing on your lower back if that feels good. And we're going to make a circle out to one side and around. Now you could make a really large circle, or you can make a smaller circle and get a little bit of movement through the lower back. It's up to you. But right now, as we circle around, can you feel the weight in your feet? One of the great things that we get from our practice is this increased balance. And that also comes from the awareness of where the weight is in our feet. So gaining strength in the legs and gaining this kind of sense of where our feet are and how we're using our body. So we start healing our body through proper alignment, through letting energy flow by keeping the joints open. Let's go the other direction. So again, large circle, pushing all the way out and around if that feels good, or a little bit smaller circle and kind of honing in hips and lower back. Completely up to you. I'm always going to encourage you to listen to your body in any way that feels good. Create your own practice. That's what it's all about. Let's do one more circle all the way around. And then we'll come back to center, kind of even it out, and then we're going to bring our feet together, knees together, bend down a little bit, take your hands on your knees, and we're going to make small little circles with our knees. This is helping to warm up through the knees and the ankles. Now, if you've never done this before, tiny little circles are going to do a lot for your body. They don't need to be large circles and really extreme. Small little circles. Now let's go the other direction a few times. Notice that weight in your feet again. We'll do two more. And then release. Come up, shake out those legs. Okay, the first movement we're going to learn, we call like water's wave. We're going to start with our feet shoulders width apart. So again, look down and check your footwork. We all have a natural way that we stand, be that toes in or out, but we want to correct that and help heal our body. Knees are soft, lower back nice and relaxed. We're going to bring our hands to our sides. Imagine that you have a little piece of fruit tucked under your arms. And then we're going to rotate our arms, lifting them up. Palms are going to face back. Then we're going to inhale and bring them up to shoulder height and shoulder width apart. Then we'll let our upper arms go down, our forearms, and our palms until our hands come and sit in front of our hips. So staying where you are, I'm going to turn so you can see. Inhale, come up. Nice and relaxed. Don't come up high. Keep them relaxed. And then upper arms, forearms, and palms sit like they're on a table. So inhale up, exhale down. You can bend into your knees too. And then we stand up, and then we sink down. And you don't have to sink very far. Just a little bit will do. But I invite you to close your eyes for a moment. I want you to follow your own breath. We all breathe at a different rate, and that rate changes based on what's going on in our life, our day, this moment in time. So right now, can you find a little bit of length in your breath? Can you elongate that breath, making it smooth, even, and continuous, filling the belly with each inhale, and then full exhale, navel to the spine. Find lightness through the arms. So feel light and airy, like you're rising up. One wave rises up, and then the other coming down. It's such a simple movement, but closing the eyes and turning the focus inward can really help us become aware of our movement. So as you sink down, where's the weight in your footwork? Are your knees following your toe direction so the weight is still centered in your feet? Let's do a few more. Find your own flow. Try to relax into it, letting go of whatever you think it should be, and just finding a movement that feels good for your body. Two more. Now, when we do our last one, we'll stand up and we'll sink all the way down again, but then we'll stand up and we'll bring our arms back to the side position. That movement is actually the opening and closing of every Tai Chi form you'll learn. So we've done it as a Qigong movement, but it's also done as a Tai Chi movement, because remember, Tai Chi is Qigong. Okay, the next one we're going to do, we're going to inhale and we're going to open the arms and bring them up, but then we're going to open out to the side. When we get here, be very aware that you're keeping your arms in front of your body. Don't open up too much. Try to relax a little bit, because then we're going to exhale and close the arms and then bring them back down. So we're kind of building on that first exercise. So we'll inhale up and open. We'll exhale, close, and down. You notice that the arms have to move a little bit faster. So inhale, up and open. Exhale, close, and down. Few more. Now we can include our legs again. So that would be exhale, sink, and come down. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, close, and down. So right now, again, close the eyes. It doesn't matter what's going on around you. It doesn't matter what pace I'm moving. Remember, I'm talking, so this is muscle memory in a way of what it feels like when I'm in my own practice and just flowing with my inhale and exhale. Every day is going to be different. Maybe today your breath is a little bit shorter, or maybe you can elongate it. Finding that deep belly breath, bringing new oxygen and energy into your cells. Okay, let's do one more. When you get to the bottom, stand up and return to the original position. We're going to do one more Qigong exercise. We call this settling down the energy. So we're going to inhale and we're going to bring those arms up overhead this time to whatever point is comfortable. And then we're going to bend at our elbows. The fingertips will point together and the palms are going to wash down the front of the body. Then we relax the arms and rotate so the palms face up. Maybe they only come to here. And then we bend at the elbows and then the palms press down. Remember, listen to your body. Right now, we want to be aware of the shoulders. So as we come up, we don't want to raise the shoulders up. We want to keep them relaxed and down, almost where they belong, letting energy flow freely. So again, it's inhale up, exhale down. Let's do a couple more. This is about your breath, your body, what's going on, and how you feel right now. So remember, you can always close the eyes and turn that focus inward. So then you're not worried about what anyone else is doing, but how it feels for your body right now. Let's do a few more. Big inhales, full exhales. Last one coming up and down. And then return by bringing those arms to the sides. Now I want you to check what's going on with your lower body. Are your knees still soft? Is your waist relaxed? This takes some time to get used to. Okay, so one of the biggest differences between Tai Chi and Qigong is that in Qigong, a lot of the times we'll have specific movements that will help certain parts of our body or help an overall energetic feeling. But in Tai Chi, a lot of our practice relates to forms and to footwork. So we're going to do a little exercise right now to just kind of notice how we walk. So back up in your space. I want you to take a few steps back. We only need to take a couple of steps, okay? So right now, take a few steps forward in your space and just walk forward a couple of times to however far you can get. And then see if you can walk backwards. So what does it feel like if we just start walking back? And then we're going to do this 2 more times. So I want you to notice right now, which part of your foot hits the ground as you go forward? Do you notice that your heel touches, then the ball of the foot and the toes? Now as we walk back, what part of your foot touches the ground first? Now I know we don't spend a lot of time walking backwards, but this is something we will talk about in our Tai Chi practice. So the toes touch first. Now, as you walk, you touch heel, ball, toe. What happens? You bend your knee. Heel, ball, toe, and you bend your knee. We never lock out our legs when we walk, right? Everything just moves forward, okay? And it's the same thing as we walk back. We never lock out our legs. We're always in a little bit of a bent position. One more time. Now I want you to notice as you walk, are your feet turning out to the side? Are you walking on one line? Are you crossing? Or are you about hips distance apart as you go forward? As we go back, it's a little bit different. It's easier to step on about one line. That'll help with our balance. But as we walk forward, we want to make sure, we'll do it one more time, couple of steps, that we have this hips distance apart. This awareness in how we walk, come back to neutral, is actually going to be a big part of our practice. And this is one of the things that is going to change your life. So if you have a piece of furniture next to you, grab on for balance. I want you to take your shoe off for a moment and look at your shoe. I know you weren't expecting this, okay? I asked this because when we take a look at our shoe is going to give us wear patterns, especially if they're your favorite pair of shoe. This wear pattern on your shoe is going to tell you where you put the weight. So you might notice that it's worn on the edge or the toe side or the heel, depending on where you put the weight in your feet. Ideally, we want the whole shoe to be nice and flat. So if you have a moment, take a look at your shoes. That's going to tell you how you stand and what's going on with your footwork, okay? So when we do Tai Chi, we do what we call is a bow stance. We start in our parallel stance is what we call it, and I'm going to mirror you. So we're going to shift our weight to our left leg, and we're going to turn our right foot about 45 degrees. We're going to sink down to whatever point is comfortable, and we're going to step straight out with this foot. And we're going to touch the ground and bend the knee. And we're going to move forward so that our knee is over our ankle. So we look like this. We have our back leg straight but not locked, And we have the front knee over the ankle, not too far. Okay, so in Tai Chi, we have a movement called push. Push is one of our most basic movements. We start at about chest level, palms sitting up like you were pushing something heavy. And we're going to push and move forward. And then we're going to inhale and we're going to come back. So as we do this, we want to think, what would it feel like if we were pushing something heavy? We're using our back leg and we're going to push into our front leg. So we have 60% in the front and 40% in the back. We're going to come back and we're going to sit up those palms. When we do this, if you were pushing something heavy, you would lean into it, right? We wouldn't be here. So lean into it, take a big inhale, exhale, and push. Inhale, float back. Exhale and push. So this movement of pushing, you can imagine inhale, you relax, exhale, push. And see if you can find a flow, just pushing with your legs. See if you can relax the upper body and push. Okay, this is the first movement we typically learn because this is the one we understand when we push something heavy. Maybe it's moving a piece of furniture, an appliance, or pushing someone's broke car. Anything, right? But we can feel, exhale and push. Inhale, float back. Okay? So now we're going to do it on the other side before we link together what we call as Tai Chi Walking, because I want you to see how we build on movements. So from our parallel stance, feet are nice and straight, shift to your left, right, and then turn your left foot open. So sink into that leg and we're going to step out again. So this is the balance part of Tai Chi. It's this right here, and you're going to see this in just a moment a little bit more. But right now, I just want to introduce you to the movement push. So we sit up the palms and we're forward, and then we inhale back, sit up the palms, exhale and push. Inhale back, exhale and push. So your goal as you do this is, can you have everything arrive together? So that means we're not doing just the arms and then legs. We're not doing legs and then arms. Tai Chi, and why it looks so nice, is because everything stops at the same time. So everything arrives together. And it's about leaning into it, finding this kind of balance of being prepared and ready and then exploding out. Now, Tai Chi we practice really slowly, but that's not the only way we practice. You can also play around or very slow. It's up to you, okay? Now, where does the balance aspect come in? It comes in from going from one bow stance to another. So it's going from side to side. So we're going to go back in our space. And we're going to bring our arms up into what we call is a hug a tree position. So imagine you wrapping your arms around a giant tree and then let your shoulders and elbows hang down, okay? We're going to do one bow stance and another. The reason we hold the arms up is so we can see the turn in our torso. So we're going to shift left first, and we're going to turn to that right side. And we're going to sink down, and we're going to step out. Then we're going to move forward. Just like we did in our push, we're going to end up with everything straight. Then we're going to shift back. And we're going to open up our left toes. And we're going to pour that weight in. And we're going to step out. And then we're going to move forward. So this right here is where the balance comes in. In Tai Chi, we go from one side to the other. We pour that weight in. Don't stand up. Just see if you can move very slowly and step out. I know it's a challenge, but this is where we start, okay? So this is kind of like an introduction to what we see in our Tai Chi and Qigong classes. So we're going to do that a couple of more times on both sides. So we're going to bring our arms up. This time we'll start on the other side to even it out. We're going to shift right and we're going to turn to the left. Sink down and then step out slowly and move forward. Okay, now we're going to shift back. And we're going to open up that foot. So the goal right now is to push off your back foot very slowly. And then we step out very slowly. And we move forward and turn. And this is what we call Tai Chi walking. So just as we did our regular walking and we kept stepping forward, now we're doing the same thing, but we're moving from one stance to another. Okay, so we're going to do 2 more rounds, going from one side to the other, just seeing how we feel. How do our legs feel? Remember, as we age, we lose muscle and strength and bone density. Tai Chi helps with all of that, bringing that internal energy and building strength in our legs, helping with our balance. Arms coming up, we're going to shift left, and we're going to turn to that right side a little bit. And we're going to sink down, and we're going to step out. And then we're going to move forward and turn. We're going to shift back and turn and pour that weight in. So that right there, that in-between step, that's where the magic happens. So it's this shifting back and this turning and that sense of pushing the weight in. So now 100% is in this leg. Before I slowly step out, that builds our balance and strength. Now I want to remind you, I've been practicing for over 20 years. So my stance when I step is going to be a little bit longer. It does not matter how far we step. So let's do it again. Shifting right, turn left. Sink a little bit. Step out a little bit and move forward. Shift back. Turn. Pour that weight in. And then step out. It could just be 1 foot distance ahead. We don't have to reach to get the balance from these exercises. This simple movement has so much to offer as we shift and turn and move forward. Okay, throw out the arms. Try to release any tension that's built up. Okay, so Tai Chi and Qigong are very similar. They both work the energy pathways in the body. They both focus on alignment and healing. So they both have similar things going on, but in Qigong, we have a variety of different forms and styles. In Tai Chi, it's always still going to be a martial art that is a Qigong practice. So we're going to see different aspects of it. So I want to show you just a little bit of what we call the Yang 13 form. And this is where I like to start everyone because it has the basics. So first we build a strong foundation, understanding what is our bow stance. That takes a few weeks. And then we slowly get into arm movements and other things. But just to give you a little preview, first movement is called opening. And it actually looks like water's wave, which is the first exercise we did. Then we have a movement we call wave hands like clouds. And we actually use that parallel stance, stepping sideways, until we get into a movement called single whip. A lot of people know this movement from commercials or anything else in the park. Now, just to show you, we have different movements, fist under elbow. We have movements called white crane. And here is where we see our bow stance that we just did with a movement called brush, knee, and push. So in our forms, we have 2 different types of footwork, but everything comes from our parallel stance. So in Tai Chi, we do focus a little bit on the martial meaning, especially when we learn over camera, because that's going to show you where your body should be in 3-dimensional space in regards to yourself being a push, and you imagine you're going from chest level to shoulder height. In Qigong, I want you to feel the flow a little bit more and just enjoy the movements from one to the next. Now in Qigong, we also do have forms practice. So Tai Chi and Qigong are very similar, and I encourage you to try both. Before we end, I want to end with that first practice that we did. We call it like water's wave. So this is a great way to bring that energy through the body, and we're going to then swing a little bit just to release any last bit of tension, so we're feeling great before we sign off today. Take that moment, look at your feet. Remember, our feet might be straight, but we still want our knees in alignment. Drop your tailbone, soft knees. Fingertips on the side. We're just going to do a few rounds of water's wave, and then we're going to swing. So inhale and come up. Bring those arms all the way up, shoulders tight, nice and relaxed. Upper arms go down, forearms, and then palms. So inhale, come up. Exhale, sink down. Very nice. So this is about your breath. So we stand up, remember not too high, nice and relaxed, and then we just float down and just release. So it's just a slow up and then down. And it's all about your breath. So it's inhale up, exhale down. So feel like one wave rising up and one wave going down. And it's literally, how does it feel for your body? This is what it's about. Does it feel good as you sink down? Are you keeping your knees in line so that the weight is centered on your footwork? So let's do one more. And then we're going to swing out those arms a little bit, let go of any tension that might build up. So sinking down and then return. Okay, now your goal is to just let everything go. So keeping those knees in line if you can. Again, if you have one, these are great tools, especially for this exercise. Watch. If we keep that block, look at the feet. They're about hips distance apart. And then we turn. And we turn from our torso, finding new movement in the spine. The shoulders hang down. And we just let the arms free swing. I just literally want you to let them go entirely. Just don't even worry about what the arms are doing, and just think, what is my torso doing? How far am I turning? Are my knees still soft? Is my lower back relaxed so we don't have that kink? Because if you are sticking your bottom out, then you cannot turn. All right, let's slowly start easing off, coming back to center. So as we come back, you'll notice that the arms start to slow down. Now we can't end right there. We're going to do 3 big breaths. Arms coming up, settle that energy down. Exhale, release. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more, all the way up. And nice and slow on the way down. All right, we will end just as we started with that salute. So rolling the fingers in on the right hand, making a nice tight fist. All the fingers come together on the left. Bring them together. We say the fist of power, book of knowledge, and we salute as a sign of honor to each other as we end class. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed today's session. Remember, if you did, click that like button, subscribe to my channel for more content just like this. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comment below. Remember, you can visit my website, ladytaichi.com, to find more information about me, or find me on social media at ladytaichi. Thanks so much for being here, and I hope to see you again soon.